It may be hard to believe, but 2013 is only a week away from being over. And what a year it's been, especially in the sports world. Southeast Texas has had plenty of stories to talk about since January 1st, 2013. Let me share with you now my top 10 Southeast Texas sports stories of the year. Let's the countdown begin. We begin with number 10, a new addition to the Houston Rockets. Houston signed Dwight Howard back in July to a 4-year, $88 million deal. He picked Houston with one goal in mind.
Well, we all have, the same goal, which is just to win the championship.
This season, the Rockets are 18-11 overall. Number 9, also in Houston. It revolves around the 8th wonder of the world, the Astrodome. Recently, 3 exterior ramp towers were demolished on the building. In November, voters rejected a referendum that would have authorized about $217 million in bonds to turn the former stadium into a convention and events center. We'll see what happens to the Dome in 2014.
That's one for you because you're really good. Right? I mean, look at that hair.
Number 8 on the countdown, Lumberton native Clay Buchholz. Buchholz was part of this year's World Series champions, the Boston Red Sox. After the Boston Marathon bombings in April, the team embraced the phrase Boston Strong and rode it all the way to the championship. It is Buchholz's second World Series title. 7 is all about Ozian senior cornerback Tony Brown. Brown is being recruited by colleges all across the country. Head coaches like Nick Saban have visited Brown. He was also one of the last recruits Mack Brown came to visit as head coach of the Texas Longhorns.
It comes to the territory, you're a top recruit, stuff like this happens. And I mean, that's what you work for when you're a freshman, sophomore, and junior, to have head coaches as famous as Coach Saban is, to come to your house and meet your family. I mean, it's a big deal, but it comes with the hard work you put in.
Brown will make a decision on his college choice in early January at the Under Armour All-America game in St. Petersburg, Florida. We stay with high school football for number 6 on the countdown. This year was all about the end of playoff droughts. 21 3A's Hardin-Jefferson made it to the playoffs for the first time since 2008. Fellow district member Orangefield made it to the playoffs for the first time since 2003. But one team, the Kuntz Lions, went to the postseason for the first time in 40 years.
Very grateful. We all are. I'm very humble about, making it. I'm thankful for the opportunity that Kuntz has given me. And, it's just a good experience.
It's going to take defense. You're going to have to distort them. You're going to have to make it hard for them to score.
Time for the top 5 now. Number 5, about our 2 local teams that made it to state. The East Chambers boys basketball team went all the way to the 2A state semifinals before falling to White Oak. What's impressive? It was head coach Tremaine Hancock's first year leading East Chambers.
I love every last one of them. I mean, they my first. I never forget them. I'm pretty sure they won't never forget me. Got a lot of memories together, and we're going to cherish them memories.
In June, the Silsbee Tiger baseball team made the trip to Austin before falling to LaGrange in the 3A state semifinals.
Yeah, it's a strange game, but it's the best game in the world if you ask me. I love it, and our kids love it.
Both teams are looking to get back to state this year. Number 4 on the list, the West Orange Stark football team. The Mustangs were the last team standing in the playoffs this year. They were a couple plays away from potentially beating the eventual 3A D1 state champion Carthage Bulldogs in the state quarterfinals.
Nobody believed that we could make it back to where we made it last year but us.
With the young team, they'll be a tough out next year in the playoffs. Number 3, a new face in charge of the Lamar women's basketball program. After 6 years as head coach at LU, Larry Tidwell became the man in charge of the Texas Pan American women's basketball program. Lamar hired Robin Harmony to replace Tidwell in May.
Like I keep saying about the people in Beaumont and the surrounding areas, they're such good people.
So far, she has led the Lady Cards to a 5-5 overall record.
It's the Texans, baby!
Number 2, the Houston Texans. A year with such promise, Super Bowl aspirations, until the wheels came off. After winning the first 2 games of the regular season, the team has lost its last 13, prompting the organization to fire head coach Gary Kubiak.
To have this string of losses that we've sustained is just totally unacceptable, and it's not what this organization is about.
PNG grad Wade Phillips is currently the interim coach. Right now, the Texans hold the number 1 draft pick in next year's NFL draft. And on to our #1 sports story of the year in Southeast Texas, the passing of Bum Phillips.
You know, he was bigger than life, and he always had some kind of saying that just seemed to really fit the moment, and it was really a neat experience to know him.
The football coaching legend died at the age of 90 on the night of this epic Mid-County Madness game between Nederland and PNG, a game in which the Bulldogs won 21-17. Beginning next year, Mid-County Madness will be renamed the Bum Phillips Bowl in the late coach's honor. Bum will never be forgotten in Southeast Texas.